Hi everyone, it's your book coach Liisa Kovala here. Grab a cup of coffee and settle in for a discussion about all things writerly. I'm the author of Sister's Winter War and Surviving Stutthof, my father's memories behind the death cave, and I'm an author accelerator, certified fiction, and memoir book coach. As a Finnish Canadian, I also love my coffee. In this podcast, we'll take a coffee break together to chat with authors, publishers, book coaches, marketers, agents, publicists, booksellers, and many others. Welcome to Women Writing. So happy you could join us for a coffee and a chat. I'm so happy to take my coffee break today with Danila Botha, the award-winning author of the critically acclaimed short story collections Got No Secrets for All the Men and Some of the Women I've Known, and most recently, Things That Cause Inappropriate Happiness. She is also the author of the award-winning novel Too Much on the Inside, which was optioned for a film. Her new novel, A Place for People Like Us, will be published in October 2025, and her first graphic novel will be published in 2026 by At Bay Press. She lives in Toronto. Hi, Danila. How are you?
I am good. How are you, Lisa?
I'm so good. I'm so pleased you could join us for a coffee break today.
Oh, I'm so happy
Are
to
you
be here.
coffee or
Thanks so much for
tea?
having me. Um,
Or
both?
not? You need both? Oh, me too.
Yeah,
Me too. It depends on the time of day. I need my coffee to start
exactly.
the morning. And
Mhm.
by the end of the evening, I'm like, no, I just need a nice cup of tea. That's
Yeah,
good. And what
exactly.
are you taking a coffee
Exactly.
break from today? Is there anything on the agenda?
Um, well, we've been doing, actually just had a meeting with Heather Wood, who is a writer and also a publicist, and we're doing some of the publicity planning stuff because I have a book that's coming out in September.
Amazing.
And then, yeah, called A Place for People Like Us. It's coming out with Guernica Editions at the end of September. And then um I'm working on a new short story. So yeah,
I like how you say that tentatively. I'm working on a short story.
because it's only the first or second draft, and I don't usually do this, but I'm always writing short stories. So even when I'm not actively working on a collection, I'm always working on new short stories. But um I was thinking the other day, my brother's really funny and he says hilarious things all the time. And he said like we were at a pool. He was visiting from the States with his kids and our families were there together. And he's like, "Have you noticed that these trees are are shaped like suppositories?" I was like, "What did you just say?" And I wrote down like trees shaped like suppositories.
Love it.
And then I started thinking about hills like white elephants and um how sadly relevant it is today with everything, all the reproductive rights and everything
Yes.
else that's scary
Right?
that's going on in the US. And so I don't usually do it, but I was like, I could write a story that's a nod to hills like white elephants, maybe.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's
Makes
so
sense.
I'm working on that story.
It's
But I
just
say
so,
I'm very nervous. I'm always very nervous. Although people do it like I know Shirani's most recent short story collection had a nod to Swimmer's The Cheever, and
okay.
Cheever is the swimmer. Like, oh,
Yeah.
just, and Cheever was amazing, and I know Shirani is amazing, and his story is amazing, and I love when
Yeah.
other people do it. I'm just
Yeah.
always like nervous to
To try
like
it. Yeah.
great things no, like you're your own stuff and you like
Yeah.
hope it's the best it could be
Yeah.
but it's different when you take something that's classic that a lot of people have read that
Mhm.
exists and that has had a life for many years beyond its
Yeah.
lifespan and then you're like, well, I hope I'm doing something good to something that's already pretty great to begin with. Like
Yeah.
I hope I'm
Right.
actually innovating something that possibly didn't need to be innovated in the first place.
Right. I
I
hear
hope
that.
but to me, like the perspective, um, even if you're telling it from the man's perspective, like to me, to convey so much in dialogue and to do
Mm.
it so subtly, but the more I read it, like the more I looked at the dialogue closely, the more
Yeah.
like it reveals. And so I thought
Right.
like it could be really interesting to see what I can do just because he's so spare,
Yeah.
Hemingway's so spare in his descriptions. So
Yeah.
that's so, but
Uh,
I've been playing with two or three lines for like an hour and I thought,
oh,
okay,
wow.
I need
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's the coffee break. I'm like,
I
okay,
love that. I love that. Like, and it is so interesting where ideas come from and just that thing your brother said. And like, I'm never going to
yeah.
look at certain trees again the same way. I'm going to think of that as I'm on my walks. But
I'm like,
also,
what the hell does
like how,
suppositories look like?
right? Like,
Like,
exactly. you know, and even that story, I think I remember teaching that to grade 12s, and like
Yeah,
it's one
yeah,
of those stories that you come back to every time you're like, wow, right?
yeah,
So I mean,
true.
to spend time like, and the fact that you're spending so much time on just a handful of lines, I mean, that's the work. And I don't know that
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who are non-writers understand that, or maybe that writer or folks who are just starting to write quite understand how almost strenuous it is to really like dig down into like, how can I
into
make this sentence
on a
just
land
so?
level. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You
you
know what
write a lot of short fiction. So do you
yeah,
find that
yeah.
that's like, I mean, you've written long as well, but like for your short fiction, do you find that that compression important to really hone in on every word, every sentence, every paragraph?
I love that question. That's such a good question. Yeah, I that's one of the things I enjoy about the farm actually.
Yeah.
That you can work on it on a line level like that. You know what? I just finished reading Nina Dunnick's new book, which is a collection of short stories, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's so chiseled on a line
Yeah.
level, like it's so
Yeah.
beautiful and precise on a line level. And I was just and I've been thinking about that a lot too. Like I mean, I think even when you write a novel or when you're working on something longer, I mean, it's not a secret. Like short fiction is definitely my favorite thing. It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to write. It's my favorite thing to read.
Yes.
But even with novels, like of course everything matters on a line level. Of course it does. But with a short story, because the container is smaller, you're limited to the economy of the form, and so everything has to be quite meaningful or deliberate
Yeah.
because you have a chance to like in Hills Like White Elephants, where she says like everything she's drinking the anise and she says everything tastes like licorice right now, and I was like because she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I was
Like it's a little
I was
spark.
like wow, I was like wow, there's more hints than I remembered in this
Yeah.
story. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's almost like everything has to do double duty or even triple duty, right?
yes,
There's like
yes,
the sort of
yes.
surface level and then the maybe the significance under it,
And
or that
especially
little.
then,
Mhm.
yeah, but especially then when it was really, really not legal and he really couldn't say it explicitly.
Yeah, yeah,
And probably if the guy had to take her to Spain to get it done, he was
yes,
probably married to someone else.
yes,
They kept calling her the girl
yeah, and
story.
yeah, which has its
it's
own
so
connotations too, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
of
for
course.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
now I need to go back and look at
yeah,
that
oh, it's totally
story.
worth reading.
So good.
No, but I mean, I think about like Nathan Englander, the way he took the classic cover story, what they talk about when they talk about love, and he wrote what they talk about when they talk about Anne Frank, which is
Right.
such an amazing story also, and the
Yes.
original is so amazing. He is
Yeah.
like someone who killed the homage, like where it's like the original was fantastic. It's
Yeah.
very hard to top cover, you know.
Yes.
It's like one of the
100%.
greats. Like it's
Yeah.
and I think Anash Shirani did too. Like both of them were amazing writers, and they
Yeah.
both took stories that are very beloved and classic, and somehow built them into something incredible and
Yeah.
even greater. So I hope that if I have actually a new collection of short stories called Sleepwalking Too Close to the Fire. It's going to come out in 27 with Grenica. I just haven't announced it officially yet.
Oh, is
So
this the big announce right
this
here?
is, I guess
Yay!
so. I guess so. This is the
It's the
big
reveal.
the reveal. Yeah.
Amazing.
So it might be part of my new collection. I'm not sure yet.
Ah,
Or
okay.
it might
Yeah.
be part of a new thing that I'm
Sure.
starting
Yeah.
starting this week. But
I love
I know
that.
it's hard because like with my last collection, Michael Murillo is my publisher. Granite Copy is also my editor,
Yeah.
and we work so well together.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And so, I was like, I have this weird idea of doing this thing that might be a little strange. And he's like, send it, but like send it in the collection. Don't send it separately.
Okay.
Find the spot for it and
Yeah.
send it to me. And then we kept doing that until
Yeah.
eventually he was like, okay, let's save some for the next one. So I don't know if I've gotten to that point in life yet, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
It's
So I'm
already
really curious about this process. So let's move back just a little bit to that your first collection. Did you
my first question.
create a
Yeah.
first collection and then pitch it? Did you pitch with just a couple of short stories? Like how did
Oh
you
no, I had a whole yeah.
you had a whole collection?
Yeah, I was writing. I did my undergrad at York University in creative
Yeah.
writing. Also, I studied art. But I studied creative writing at York, and most of the stories in Got No Secrets, which was my first collection, it came out in 2010. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
600 years old. Big tyro. It was, yeah, most of the stories were what I worked on in
Yeah.
workshops. I also did now I mentor at School for Writers, but I was a student in the program, and both of those programs were where the first stories were workshopped and
Yeah.
written and all that kind of stuff mostly. And then I had a few, like a couple stories were published in publications. Like one was published on Joyland, which was really great, and a couple other places. And then I just put it all together, and it was a very like lean collection.
Yeah.
And then I sent it. I didn't like widely send it around. I didn't realize how lucky it was. I sent it to two places, and um, this it worked out really like well with Tyrope. The other place said that they liked it, and if I they wanted me to do things editorially in terms of style that I just wasn't sure I could do. Like I
Right.
just didn't know if I was able to do what they were asking me to do, but they
Right.
also would have been amazing to work with.
Yeah.
And then they were great. Tyrope was great, and it was a great first like
Amazing.
press to work with. Like it was a really great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first collection, and then my first novel was a bit came out with Quattro in 2015. It's called Too Much on the Inside, and it's also a bit like a short story novel hybrid because it's for first person voices, and the voices rotate over the space of a whole year. Like
Okay.
it's a year in for people's lives.
Love
And
that.
Queen Street's like the fifth character.
Yes, love that. So
Like,
so now when you're pitching a short story collection, for instance,
yeah,
um so you don't necessarily like for this book that's coming out in 2027,
yeah.
they've worked with you now for a while, you've worked with your editor, it's more of a developing project which you know is going to happen rather than, oh, I have to complete it and then they'll decide. Is it
No,
more of that working
I
relationship?
pitched a finished collection,
Oh, you
but
did.
yeah, I did actually finish up. I know I
Yeah.
did actually pitch a finished collection, but um I'm always writing short stories. Like even when I'm not supposed to be writing short stories, I'm writing short stories. So then if I think something fits in terms of
Okay.
theme style or and I know
Yeah.
because like stuff sometimes and then also I send it out to journals at the same time and then if
Yes.
somebody like publishes it and they're like they say something really kind about it, then I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Oh, maybe it should be in the collection.
Right. And do
Like
you
maybe
have a,
maybe it would make sense kind of thing. And yeah.
yeah, 100%. Do you have going into like if you're thinking about your next collection, are you thinking thematically of like an overriding idea or theme, or are you just writing stories and then going, okay, like these fit together and this would make a good collection and this will be good for over there? Or do you go in it strategically thinking, oh, this whole collection is going to address these ideas?
I love these questions. You have such thoughtful, great questions. The truth is, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but the truth is both. Like, like with my second collection, with my third book, For All the Men and Some of the Women I've Known, the title story shaped the whole collection.
Yeah.
And once it was written, I had an idea of writing about the process of once the title story was written, I had the idea of that and like the process of falling in love and relationships ending and friendships ending and all these things and so I then grouped it in that way, and some of the stories I already had fit, and some things needed to be written and needed to be edited. It's also the concision of the collection also had to do with the theme and really making things fit. With things that cause inappropriate happiness, um,
Great
I
title.
think, sorry,
Great
what?
title.
Well, thank you so much. You know what? It's a real side effect of prednisone.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah,
people
yeah,
so I don't write autobiographically, like not at all.
yeah,
And the title story is like obviously not autobiographical, but
yeah.
the I do have rheumatoid arthritis, like the
Yes.
character in the story. And
Right.
so I so and prednisone, like inappropriate happiness is a real side effect of prednisone.
Yeah.
Not that I experienced it, but I thought it was so
Yeah.
surreal and strange at the
Yeah.
time.
It
I
is.
remember
Yeah. So good.
how and how, like I just imagined like what the character says, like where she just like imagines doctors like trying to measure how much happiness is
Right.
inappropriate and how much happiness is appropriate now that she knows she has this illness. Like,
Right.
um, so once like certain stories were written, there were a lot of themes that emerged like about Jewish identity or themes about identity. I was also doing research. I have a graphic novel that's coming out next year with Ape Press. They're amazing also. And it's called Vidal, and it's coming out next year. And I'd had to do a lot of research about of Jewish history in order to write that graphic novel. So some of that ended up being in stories I was writing, and then I wondered if they fit. And then I had like, like Michael and I would have these like in-depth conversations about like whether it made sense and whether, but yeah, no, I like
Yeah.
it was a little bit less narrow than for all the men, but
Mm.
I still and then it's also, it happens like it gets a story gets published and then you think, oh, okay, so maybe people want to read this. Like
Right.
maybe it could fit into this collection. And then
Yeah.
with Sleepwalking Too Close to the Fire, um, in different ways, people are in precarious situations,
Right.
I
Right.
guess is the
Yeah.
is the main thread through
Right
the
throughout.
collection.
Yeah. For
Um,
sure. Yeah.
but like and sometimes it's precarious in a very literal sense, and sometimes it's, like they feel like their lives are at a crossroads, or they feel like but that's the main that's the main connector. And then but yeah, no, I feel like with things that cause inappropriate happiness, there was a lot of like people made connections that were so cool when they read it that I didn't even think of,
Oh,
which
I
is
love when that happens,
yeah, it's
right?
so
I
nice.
love it becomes theirs and they see what they see in it. They're bringing to the
Yeah,
table whatever it is they're
yeah.
going through or whatever. And
I think as a writer, like all
amazing.
you want is for people to just read and think about your work, like whether they love it or not. Like you just,
Exactly.
I'm just so grateful for readers. So when people
Yeah.
read things and they connect with something, it's like the greatest thing. Like,
Yeah. Well, and I think even for writers, often like when you're working on things, you may have a sort of a sense or idea of what it is you're trying to convey or a thematic idea or a thread that's running through it.
mm,
And so that might be a little bit of a focus or it emerges as you're working through.
right.
But there's always so many other things happening. But
Yeah,
under the surface, and sometimes
absolutely.
we pick up on that
Absolutely.
and go, "Oh, I'm going to lean more into that." And
Yes.
sometimes I think the
Yeah.
reader is like you say, the ones who go, they see it immediately, and I'm like, oh yeah, actually,
Yeah.
meant to do
That's
that.
true. Like you're like, oh, that's really interesting. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Are there themes that you feel like you are exploring? Like I feel like a lot of writers keep coming back to the same ideas over and over again in different genres or in different ways or in different storylines, but it's kind of coming back to some basic ideas that maybe you're grappling with or the author's grappling with. Do you have anything that you return to, or do you notice, or do you just say, okay, I've dealt with this issue now, I'm moving to something else
I'm sure I do. I'm just trying to think.
now?
I'm sure I do. Like I'm trying to, I mean, I guess I'm always interested in people's motivations because I don't generally write about my own experiences. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I think
Yeah.
it's really great when people write what they know, and like I always find other people more interesting, so I generally don't like but I'm always interested in people's motivations and why people do the things they do, and
Mhm.
um in trying to understand who they are, like for in a place for people like us, which is my new novel, the characters both do some pretty wild stuff. And I really wanted to understand, like one of the characters is lying about some pretty huge, pretty fundamental stuff. And like I remember first reading a news story about a woman who did something like that. I don't want to like it's so hard. I don't want to give it away, but
I
like
know that's it, right?
I
No spoilers.
but I want to, but I really, but it's like, lying about things that are, in a way that's really unethical, like, and,
Yeah.
benefiting from something that isn't true, like
Yeah.
and so I was fascinated by how a person could do that and why a person would do that and how they could not feel guilty about doing that. Like,
Mm.
so like, in a way, like everything I write is always about understanding those kinds of things. Like,
Right.
but why would they do it? Like, and
Right.
why would they go so far? And I like to write like difficult women. Like I like
Yeah.
to write complicated women, and I like to write women that take things as far as it's humanly possible to take things.
Right. I
And
love
then,
that.
and why? Why would they do it?
Yeah,
Like, why would they want to? Like, and
for
what
sure.
makes them stop? What's the line between thinking about it and actually doing it? Like, those
Right.
kinds of things are the questions I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with. Like,
Oh, I love that. I love the idea that, as readers, when we're reading about those kinds of characters, we can experience what they're going through vicariously and not put ourselves at risk, but we can
yeah,
explore like all the, possibilities of what that might look like and the repercussions of
absolutely,
those things.
absolutely.
I mean, it must
Yeah,
be fun as an author to just go, okay, let's throw this at you and see what you do.
right, right, right. Yeah, 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 exactly. It
So
is.
great.
It's really fun.
Yeah, no kidding. So you write both short and you write long. So your form though that you love the most is it short fiction? That's just where you
Absolutely.
gravitate?
It's
That's
just what I
so
love.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Like,
so interesting to me.
really?
Yeah, I guess because I gravitate towards the
That's
novel.
why. Yeah,
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 because
yeah.
every time I think of an idea for a short story, it becomes a novel length, like in my head. Like it's all of a sudden it can't be a short story because there's just too many characters, too many things. Da, da, da. So my short
So
ideas
funny.
are, yeah, I
Because
think long.
I'm like literally the opposite. That's
Yeah.
so funny. Like, I'm like, every time I have an idea, I'm like, this would be so great for a novel. And then I find a way to compress it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I think that the and same with memoir. I think some people just gravitate towards memoir. It's
Yeah,
that they need to tell
absolutely.
those stories that are really
Yeah.
personal, and others to poetry or whatever the form is. It's just interesting that there's
I
sort of
love,
innate desire to tell it in a certain form, I guess.
yes, it's so interesting and it's so, your novels are beautiful. It makes sense that you love writing them. I do love writing novels too. I found the process of writing a place for people like us. Um, I started writing it. I did my MFA at Guelph.
Yeah,
And I started writing it when I did the first draft of it when I did my MFA at Guelph.
amazing.
So that's a long time. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
took a long time for it to be ready
yeah.
to be published and for it to come out in the world. I'm actually really excited because my launch in Toronto is going to be with Catherine Bush, who's one of my mentors
Oh
at
yes,
Guelph. So
yes.
I'm
And
really, yeah,
is that
I'm so
in
excited.
is that in
September
September?
September 17th. Yeah.
Oh, so if you're in Toronto area, September 17th, where is it
Yeah.
where is the launch?
Flying Books on College Street.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
so fun.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited because she saw the like the terrible first version of it and still encouraged and supported me to keep
Yes.
going.
Yeah.
Like,
But I think that's the
it's
thing. Folks who have been writing for a long time and who have experience understand that that first draft is going to be not good,
yeah,
that there's sparks in there, right? That there's
yeah, for sure.
things
Elise
that,
Friedman too was an amazing, like an
yeah,
amazing help and mentor and friend through the
yeah,
process too. Like,
so good.
I feel so indebted to other writers who um, understood what I was trying to do or had new insights or brand new ideas for how to approach it.
Yeah,
I feel like there's something unwieldy about novels. They get
yeah,
so large and then it's really hard. I find because
yeah,
if you get used to the compressed form, then when you're trying to make it longer and add detail, it's very hard to keep track of the pacing and the momentum. And I wanted
right.
it to be very fast.
Yes,
And it's hard to do that.
yes,
So I had to like
100%.
because it's easy to make things move in a short story, even if it's interior, it's easier to naturally to have movement. But with
Right.
a novel, like you want people to want to read the next chapter, you want people
Yeah,
to keep going, and some of the stakes are high, so like you actually want things to
yeah,
literally move,
yeah. Move forward.
and it's
Yeah,
hard to do that when you're
yeah.
thinking of expanding. Because
Yes,
naturally, when you add description, when you add
yes.
all these other things, you slow down.
Yeah, you slow down and then it's
Yeah.
at places you want to go more
Yeah.
quickly and, and drive it
It's
forward
hard.
more
It's like
quickly.
you can hold a short story in your hands. You can hold
Yeah.
connected short stories in your hands. When
Yeah.
you have a novel, it starts like wildly spiraling.
And I don't know about you, but I'm
Direction.
at that age where I'm having more difficult. difficulty remembering all the even character names. And then if I change
Yeah.
them, oh, I'm in
Oh, yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I have
yeah.
spreadsheets
Yeah.
and all kinds of like
That's good. Yeah, I
charts
was
and
gonna ask you, do you do that? Do you do like
100%.
you physically have them around you?
Not in the my physical space, but I
Yeah.
absolutely have spreadsheets because I can't, like, I need to remember often like how old they are and where they are at this time and details about them and ages and names, and then I change the
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
midway through, or I've written the book and I've changed the name and now it's like, okay, who are they again? So I'm just,
Or
yeah,
you've
I
like
just have to
spent a
keep
lot of time
everything.
thinking about something, but you haven't written down those details, and then
Yeah,
you come back and you're like, where is all this stuff? Or
right,
what is
exactly.
all the what are all these details? I was thinking about this. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, that
Or
was really a great idea that I didn't do.
yes.
No, it is true. How do you manage all of that information? Like for for
Um,
writing
that's
long
what's
or
really
even for short?
challenging about novel writing because with a short story, there, even if you know all of the backstory, a short story is like a conversation. You're taking the subway and you're sitting beside somebody, like right beside someone, and you don't know them. But because they know that the ride is finite and because they know that they don't know you and something big is going on in their life, it's like they divulge something really big to you. But all you know about them is what you know in that moment. You don't know the rest of the context of their life. So it's easy to hold that information.
That's a really, I've
Like,
never heard anyone describe it like that. And I think that's a really great way to visualize what that
but
container, right?
that's okay, thank you. It's
Amazing.
but with a novel, like you actually have to know the whole story. You have to know everything that's not going to be in the book too. You need to know everything about your characters.
Yeah.
And then you need to know where to put that information. I also like would make like notes and spreadsheets and even just like because I draw and stuff, like I often um like I'll sketch the characters so I remember to
Oh, I
embody
love
them
that.
or I'll write notes and then there's notes and sketches on the
Amazing.
same page and that kind
Right.
of thing. But if I it helps me to think about body language and how would they stand and what were their facial expressions like because
Yeah.
my first drafts are all about their thoughts and their feelings.
Yeah.
I almost entire like they'll be like a line like they were in a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like there's no hospital. Like there's just
Yes.
like I'll never forget, like I did when I was doing my MFA, Russell Smith read an early draft of A Place for People Like Us, but like a chapter or something.
Right.
And he was like, and the notes on the side were all capital letters, Botha, where's the hospital? Where is the damn hospital? Like he's like, where are the white walls? Where is the antiseptic smell? Where like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
know everything she's thinking and feeling. Does she have a body? Like doesn't she
Yeah.
like see
Yeah.
things? Like doesn't
Yeah.
she
Is
smell
she, where
things?
is she in time and
Where
space?
is she and where is the space?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just tell you just literally just said we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. And then did you go back and layer in some of those things later?
A
Yeah.
lot, yeah. What really helped me was when I started to think of description as a facet of characterization.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, if all of us are walking down the street, our life experiences and who we are informs what we see and what we focus on and how we curate the scene in front of us. And when I realized that you're giving your reader another way to understand the perspective that's unique to your character and
Yeah.
the perception that's unique to your character, then it became fun to do
Yeah.
description.
Great. That's so good.
Like,
Yeah. So
but
important.
like I really struggled with description for a long time because I
Yeah.
was like, I could enjoy when other people wrote it, but I was like, really, 5 paragraphs about a tree? Okay, we
Do I need
get it.
it?
It's beautiful and great. Like, like
Right.
like I was like, what?
Yeah.
Who's fantastic? I love Heather O'Neill's descriptions so much.
Wow.
It's like the
Absolutely.
most beautiful, unique descriptions I've ever read in my life. Oh my God, her new book was so beautiful.
Oh, what's the new one? I don't think I've read.
Valentine in Montreal.
Nope.
It's
It's on my
it's
list
beautiful. Oh, it's so
to
good. You have
read.
to read it. It's
Yes.
so good.
Yeah. So
But like her descriptions are just so unique and
yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Neil Smith also does amazing descriptions. I really like there's like this freshness and this of the momentness about Zoe Whittle's descriptions where she
Yes.
like a precision about where exactly she is and how exactly her characters see things that
Yeah.
I enjoy so much.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love that.
like
And I love that you're pointing to pieces that resonate for you and that that idea of reading like a writer, that you're not just reading for pleasure, but you're also like aware of their craft. Like I know that we want our craft kind of to be invisible, but as writers, it's good to read with that intentional
Yeah.
like how are they accomplishing that? Like how are they making that description, reflect the character or so I love that you're kind of pointing to authors that do that for you. That's wonderful.
There's so many. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
it's hard to choose because there's so
No,
many amazing
exactly.
writers. But like, there's I try to read as much as I can. I think it's really important. And I really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
really you pick up a lot even by osmosis about how to do things and how people like. I just remember the first time I read Heather O'Neill's story. Zoe Whittle edited this incredible collection in the 2000s. It was called Geeks, Misfits, and Outlaws, and it was full of some of my favorite writers, like Lynn Crosby was also in it. And Heather O'Neill had this story, this short story called I Know Angelo, and I was like, I can't, I'm dead. I can
Blown
never write
away.
again. I can never do anything again because I'll never be as good. Like I was like, every single line was just so beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
I and like she has such like a gift for making everyday things that you don't expect to be beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Like and it was just so moving and the characterization was so good, but the descriptions were like nothing I've
yeah,
ever read. It was so beautiful.
yeah,
And then when you realize you're like, oh, like Lynn Crosby also like her voice is so strong and beautiful and funny and great. And her descriptions are also like that. She also like
yeah.
makes like grit glitter. Like she
So
also,
good.
like
Yeah,
and like there's a lot of writers that like do incredible things, but sometimes when like with the things that we struggle with the most, like when you see lots of ways
yeah,
it can be done, you go like, oh, okay, like that's really
yeah,
interesting. I never
yeah.
even thought
Thought
about
of it
that.
that
Like
way.
yeah, like
Yeah, it's almost it can't be taught as much as it as getting model examples of all the different ways and then letting your own imagination.
yeah, Michael Christie is great at that too. Like from his like more gritty and very precise and like taught writing in Beggar's Garden to like almost maximalist style of Greenwood. Like he
Yeah,
all of his descriptions are beautiful
experimenting.
too. In a different
Yeah.
in
Was
a
there
different
ever a
way.
moment while you were, what was it always your intention to be a writer? Like, was that you went into your, school and went to MFA? What was this the intention always to be a writer, or um, was this additional to something else?
I read someone's dedication to a book the other day. It went around on Instagram that was like they dedicated their book to their mom and it says like it's so great that I didn't become a doctor because people would have died.
Ah, so good.
I don't like the honest truth is it's not like I could have gone to med school or law
Right,
school.
right, right, right.
Like no, and it's not because like I just it was the thing that I loved to do the most
Yeah,
from when I was a
love it
really
all.
young kid at that and
Yeah,
drawing and painting and I did music for a few years when I
yeah.
was older but like
All
mostly
the
singing
arts.
and
Yeah,
writing lyrics and stuff but no I mean I've always felt like an artist like I've
yeah,
always felt like a writer like I can't imagine I taught high school but I was teaching art and I was teaching English and
yes, yeah.
like so I mean
Still in the
I
wheelhouse.
yeah, like I never,
Yeah.
when I was in grade three, I started to seriously come up with stories and ideas. And I had this amazing teacher, shout out to Mrs. Notelevitz,
Uh,
who who encouraged, my parents were very encouraging too, but my teacher was like, we have to write things down and like during
yeah.
like lunch sometimes she would like come and tell me the rest of that story. We're gonna write it down right now because one day this is gonna be a book. And it was the
Oh, that's
nicest thing like anyone had ever said because she was taking it so seriously. She was
yeah,
taking the character and then sometimes she would like ask me like how's this person like how is blah 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 like I can remember the name of the
yeah,
character now but she'd be like and like instead of aren't you a little old to have imaginary friends she was like I mean they weren't really like right they were characters
yeah,
but I
but
don't know if I would have conceived of it as that at that age and
yeah,
like I was like, I have this story, I have this idea, I have these things that are
yeah,
like living rent free in my mind, but I didn't like know that they were real things.
right.
And there's really something amazing when someone says to you like, um, this is you're coming up, you love to read books, you're coming up with your own books. These are your
Yeah.
own ideas. Like this is a story and I want to write them down for you because I think they're really good ideas, or I think they're really funny ideas, or I think that this could be a real thing someday.
Yeah.
And like we're still in touch and I still feel
Oh,
incredibly
are you? Oh, oh, I
she's so
love this
special.
so much.
She's such an amazing teacher, and like
Yeah.
like her students, she still teaches. Her students are so lucky to have her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But I just these things make such a, I so yes, I think so. Like
Yeah.
I always wrote, I read a lot. Books were always like my friend as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I felt personally invested in the characters and in stories in a certain way. I have books that are dog-eared from rereading even as a child,
Ah,
like kind of thing.
yes.
Like no, I think, and I loved the library as a kid. There's
Yes.
a picture
Yes.
of me when I was like in grade 4 or something, and I'm like reading a short story to my class, like a little story that I wrote to my class as a kid, like in the library of my school in South Africa.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actually, I went to university to study art, like to study visual arts at
Yeah.
York, and I. At the time, like in the early 2000s, there's a creative writing program only started after first year, so I had to submit a portfolio, and I was really, really happy I got in. I wrote the first proper like short
Yeah.
story that I'd ever written. Was called Another Other, and it ended up being in For All the Men and Some of the Women I've Known,
Amazing.
which
Right?
was so cool. I wrote it on the 196 bus going to down to the
Like,
subway station, like
amazing.
which no longer exists. Like, but yeah, like I was like, but yeah, no, I mean, like I guess I always have. It's all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the older I got, the more confident I got in being able to say that. I was scared
Right.
to say it for a long. Like
Do you
I think,
remember when you said it the first time? Like,
um,
or the circumstances? Like,
yeah,
because I
because
know
even
so
in my
many who don't, so many writers who just hesitate about that. Like, so, there's some
yeah, of
gravitas
course.
to it, you know?
Even in my undergrad, like I would say I'm majoring in creative writing or I'm
Yeah.
studying creative writing. I wouldn't
Right.
say like I'd
I'm
be
a
very,
writer.
yeah, like I could, and some people are like, oh, did publications help? So my very first publications were actually in, like, I was 16, and there was, some local music magazines and I reviewed music and stuff
Okay.
like that. And I interviewed bands. So like, that was like my first stuff. And then, um, I did sort of like socially human interesty, like cold season stories for places like 24 hours and like the free commuter paper and those kind of things. So I was doing more of that than like publishing in literary magazines because back then people don't know, like people like those kids today with their submittable, like no, but
Right?
seriously, they don't know.
They
They
don't
don't
know.
know what it was like to send one story in an envelope with a self-addressed stamped envelope across the country to like Victoria, and
Yes.
then wait 8 months so that the sight of your own handwriting in your mailbox makes you want to vomit, to then be told no, and then be told you can send it to somewhere else because you really weren't allowed to do simultaneous submissions
Right.
back then.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Whole other process.
yeah, oh yeah, like
No email.
people say, yeah, like people say now like, oh, it must be really it's so hard because the yeses and nos come so fast now, and yeah, but it's much better than what the way
Yeah.
it used to be. Like you
Yeah.
like first of all, Submittable and Duosema and these places and Chill Subs, they're all amazing. They
Yeah.
keep it organized for you.
Yeah.
You don't even have to make a spreadsheet anymore because
That's right.
Submittable is basically a spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
it tells you exactly like you know where you've submitted, you know who says
Yeah.
yes, you know who says no, you know who sits on it for a year and a half, like
Yeah.
you know everything, like
Yeah.
and
That's
Chill
so great.
Subs actually rates these places and keeps track. So like you
Oh,
don't
that's good.
have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
highly
good.
recommend Chill Subs. It's
Okay.
great.
I
And
didn't
they
know
have a
about that
good
one.
Substack too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean like all these places are amazing and it was good in our day too. But it was a lot more everything just I can't believe we ever got published. Like
Ah,
it just took so much time.
more time for writing, maybe? I don't know.
I hope so.
Or
I
just a
mean, I
lot of
hope
going to
so.
the post office.
But there's something really special about all the online publications today and getting published so that you get
Yeah.
to work with an editor sooner and you get to, I mean, working with the established publications is fantastic too.
Yeah.
I had a story in Grain last year and they're amazing. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many, like TNQ is amazing. They're all amazing. Like, I had, the Niganish review
Oh yes, yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing. Like
yeah.
they're all great.
So
Like
great.
Stephanie
Like we're
Bonnet
so
is
lucky
killing
in
it with
Canada,
Dalhousie
actually.
review right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah, like they're all great.
yeah,
Like literary Canada's great. Like they're all
yeah.
shout out to all the Canadian magazines.
A
They're all
hundred
amazing.
percent, and like we're just really fortunate that we have all these literary magazines. I know that there's lots of them are struggling, and we
Yes.
have issues with we were talking earlier about literary festivals, and
Yeah,
a lot of them
that's
are
right.
struggling, and small presses are struggling. There's definitely an
Yes.
issue, but
Yes.
also we are fortunate
Yes.
to have, pretty thriving literary scene in
And
Canada.
a scene that's always been respected and taken seriously, and a scene that has a lot of history.
Yes.
Like Fiddlehead and some of these publications have been around forever. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
It's
Like
yeah.
Fredericton
Yeah.
is a great city, like, but
Yeah.
you still would not think like that
Yeah.
they have one of the oldest, and then they also have Crudy, and they also have
That's right.
the PhD program in creative writing, and
Yeah.
they have people
That's right.
like Mark Jarman and Clarissa Hurley who just
Yeah.
live there, who also just started a magazine called Camel. Like
Oh,
there's
okay. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
yeah, there's all like
Yeah.
just like
It
the
is
talent
incredible.
pool across the country from like east to west is just
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah. It's just
And
incredible.
north to further north
Yeah.
is
Our
like
north to northern, more farther north.
yes. Yeah, no, like
I love
Dawson City has an amazing scene. Like they're really
that.
like there's it's amazing. And
Absolutely.
Sudbury is pretty great.
Yeah, Sudbury is.
Kovala
There's
lives there. She's
for,
pretty great. She's really
keep
talented.
working we have lots of great arts things happening here. We were
Yes.
talking earlier, the Birdstalk Literary Festival
Good
is
talk. Yeah,
has been in
yeah.
jeopardy, but we're trying to pull something together for the fall, at least something small,
That's
and then
exciting.
hopefully we can build it back up again. And
Yeah,
it has
absolutely.
a long tradition of 11 years. It's been running under Heather Campbell, and she's been
Yes.
amazing. So
Yes.
we're
Beautiful
gonna
festival,
keep
for sure.
plugging away, but
Yeah,
it takes a village to pull
it really
together to make
does.
these things happen. So it's how it
What's
is.
what's great is that I find there's a good sense of community within the writing community itself, and
Yes.
people like to support each other and to go hear each other read and to read
Great.
each other's books and to post about each other's work and that's one of the greatest gifts. Like I think when I think about like the question you were asking before, because you have so many good questions, like such
Oh,
thoughtful, amazing questions, is like when you asked about when did I feel like a writer, like my first book was published, there's something really real and special about like being able to hold your own book in your hands and say like,
yeah.
oh my God, it's a real thing.
Yeah. That's a
My biggest,
special, special moment. Like
but it
it's
was
hard to describe.
also, but it was also like suddenly feeling like all these writers some like they were my peers, like they were my colleagues, like starting to feel like you can read with other writers and you can do events
Yes.
together. And the first time someone asked me to blurb a book, I was like, me, really? I love your
Great.
work. I would be honored.
Yeah. Right.
Or like, like the first time, like all these things, like the first time you get to read at a festival, like
Yeah.
my first festival was Word on the Street in Halifax. And
Yes.
Kathleen Winter was there, and I was such a big fan. And it
Yeah.
took me about 6 or 7 years before I could see her at another festival and actually go talk to her.
Oh, I love
'Cause
that. Fangirling. Kathleen Winter.
oh, totally. Oh, I fangirl a lot. I fangirl all the time.
Oh, that's so great. I love that.
But it's like,
Oh,
oh my God, I'll never forget when I was early in my career before I had a book published. I was an intern at Mercury Press. Bev Dario used to run this amazing small press in Toronto called Mercury Press. Bev is amazing. She's also like another person who was so good to me and so kind to me early in my career. She's wonderful. And they ran a literary supplement called Word, and Zoe Whittle was on the thing with me, and I had just read like her first two books, like, and I had just read The Best 10 Minutes of Your Life, which is her very first poetry collection, and it was the best 10 minutes of my life. I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is everything I want to do and everything I want to be, and I was like, I'm gonna legitimately give her a heart attack because
yeah.
I'm gonna try to be cool, but I have no chill, and I like.
Oh, she must have
And
been
like
so
she was
delighted,
so kind.
actually.
No, she was so kind. She's so kind. She's such a great person. She's so kind. But like
Oh,
it
that's
was just
so
like
great.
and no, but it's also really special to so much of I mean, we work closely with our editors and we work with our publishers and we have friends who we support each other, read each other's
Yes.
work, but there's something when you're there's something really amazing to hear when someone's like read your work really closely. Like there's
Yeah.
something really like, and it's really
Yeah.
amazing to be able to tell somebody that their work changed your life like that.
Right. Yeah, I
Like
mean
it's
that
really
one
like
reader can just fill you up. You know, you can know the numbers or how many people have read or how many people have bought it or whatever, but to have those specific comments are
I
like
think one of the
just
coolest
beautiful.
things that ever happened to me, my husband still brings this up because it's like, I can't believe that happened. But I read it, was reading at Brockton, the reading series in Toronto at Glade Bookstore. And this is like years ago, is when For All the Men was out. And a girl came up to me and she was so nervous and she was crying because she loved, like, I felt like, I'm like, this is what musicians must feel like because this must
Right?
happen to them all day. That it doesn't usually
Yes.
happen to me.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
it was like I was like so I mean I know what that's like. Like I've definitely felt like that about so many books.
Yeah,
Like but
for
like
sure.
it's just
It can move us in whatever way,
just to feel
right?
like something, yeah, of course. But just to like feel like your work has the power to move someone is
Yeah,
just like
that's so
an
incredible.
incredible thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm incredibly
yeah,
grateful. Like
for sure.
those are
Magical moments.
but yeah, like moments where you're like, oh, maybe I do this. Like maybe this
Yeah,
is a real
maybe
like
I should
maybe I
keep doing this. Yeah,
like yeah, I mean,
invigorates you. I want to ask you because you do have a book coming out,
yeah,
and I want to ask you about the thing that a lot of authors don't embrace or don't
like
or
what
maybe want to but don't know how. Like, what is marketing and promotion like for you? Do you embrace it? Do you love it? Do you like
I
does it make you
call
uncomfortable? Like people are all over the place with this. I mean, and what
um
maybe even what you find is resonating for you that you think, okay, this book is coming out. I know I need to promote it. What feels right for you when you
it
say
is
yes or
hard. I
no?
was just having this conversation with another writer yesterday. That's so funny. I was just like she was saying it's really hard for her to do it. So I before one of the jobs I did like a long time ago was music publicity. Like I did publicity for bands. And if you sort of pretend that it's not you and that you're doing this for someone else, because if someone else was a client and they were paying you to do this, um, you would have to pretend to or actually take it seriously and treat it with seriousness. It's very hard to treat your own work seriously. Like it's
Yeah,
very hard. Like you know everything that's wrong with it. So you're like you
that's
can
right.
see like and especially as a writer, like every flaw is like every line is like magnified, you know,
Yes.
like every
Yes.
well and there's also this genuine feeling of like you know, like are my ideas so important? Should anyone care? Like, are my characters, or am I just like this weirdo that like sits talking to imaginary people? Or like, you know, like it's really hard. Like if you think of it being about you, it's like almost impossible to do it. So if
Mm,
you think of it as a job, like the job is to promote this product.
yeah.
It's what is a little bit easier for me is that both of my parents have their own businesses.
Okay. Yeah.
And my dad is an agronomist. His company makes fertilizers.
Yes.
And so he's like works with chemists and scientists, but he's like they make you know, like for farms and stuff like that. And he had a company that was doing well in South Africa, which is a great climate for agriculture. And he came here and he literally started from zero. He worked in our basement for a year with Dollarama decorations on the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
But he had a massive company in South Africa and he had employees and he had like a factory where they were producing the products and he came here and he was working in our basement for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with Dollarama, like
Yeah.
posters with aphorisms about like, you know, like on the walls of our basement.
Yeah. Amazing.
And it was like a year before he got an order or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he had to drive to like Michigan to get it or in a
Right.
Dodge
Right.
Shadow. Like it
Yeah.
was so what was really and he's done well since, but it takes a really long time and you have to believe in the product that you're selling. That's the biggest thing. So you have to care about what you're talking about and you have to believe in it. And it is different when it's a creative thing. My mom is an interior designer. I saw her have a similar process of doing really great work when I was growing up. And then when we moved here, like she was also in a very similar position. Um, but in a certain way, even though we're lucky as writers, we get to work with publishers, we get to work with editors, and we have teams. Like we're really not doing this alone. It's a bit like being the front person of a band, like
Yeah.
not like you definitely need the
It's a
band.
team. Yes. Yeah.
Like you definitely need the band.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you're the person speaking for the band, but
That's
really
right.
like it's a band, it's definitely the whole band. Like
For sure.
but I think it helps. to understand that it's just part of the job,
Mm,
and it's hard. Um, but if you want the work to be read, like if you
right.
want to reach audiences, it's just what we have to do. And in a certain way, there's more on us today than there used to be in
Mm,
terms of promoting work. Like it's definitely true.
yeah,
But on the other hand, we have more control today than we
that's
used
true.
to. Because
Yeah,
if we weren't front list authors back in the day,
yeah,
and we weren't the main priority of the publishing house, we would get no attention, and there was nothing we could do about that.
that's true.
And today, social media gives us a lot of control.
Yeah,
We can reach out to bookstagrammers ourselves. We
yeah,
can reach out to people ourselves. We can send books ourselves. We can set up our own giveaways on Goodreads. We can, like there's a lot that we can do ourselves.
yeah. I
Um,
like that.
and
I like how you described it as um not necessarily thinking about it as you yourself, that
right,
okay,
like
I'm putting on this hat and I'm doing this work. It's part of the work, it's part of the responsibility. But also like if you're giving as much care to your own product and your own self as a client as you would to somebody else, like say a band that you were working with in the past,
yes,
like it's
yes,
like give as much attention to that for yourself as you would have to them. Like you're honoring your own work then, and then
yes,
you're like
yeah.
reminding yourself, okay, like I do want to share this. Like, and how do people know about your work if you don't tell them?
It's
Like
really hard. It's really, really hard. Like in the first time, like when Got No Secrets was out, I was really lucky to get really good reviews, and legacy media was a lot easier to be placed in back then.
yeah,
But like even with the Globe and Mail review that we got, I was so grateful. It was so amazing. Jim Briley was amazing, but like I also made sure that a friend, like a music journalist who I'd worked with in the past, got it onto the desk of the music editor, who got it onto the desk of the book editor. Like,
yeah,
because that's what you have to do in music to get indie bands noticed, and that's just what
yeah,
I did. And I personalized notes and I signed things. Like,
yeah,
you have to do that stuff. And
yeah,
when you've done it for other people, you know that it's nothing, no bearing on how good something is or isn't.
yeah,
Sometimes you just have to push, and it's hard because the Canadian way is to be very
yeah,
polite and to
yeah.
not push and to respect
Humble
boundaries.
and
And it's
yeah,
like a very no, but I think you can
yeah,
be humble but still want to have readers. Like I
that's
think
true.
that both
Yeah,
of those things can be true.
yeah.
Like
I
it's
agree.
not like thinking that you want to get readers because you think the thing is the best or you think you're
Yes,
important or you think people should pay attention. It's because you just want to see what people think, and it's just such an honor for people to read it. And if they
yeah,
like it, that's amazing. But like my expectations are so not even that high. It's just
yeah,
like
yeah,
you just want people to read it. Like you just
yeah.
want it to be a real
Yes,
book in the library. You just want it to be a
100%.
real book in the store kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
but it took me definitely took a while because I was worried. I was like, is this super gauche? Is this super terrible? Like, are people gonna think I'm really arrogant and full of myself? And the worst part was like as each project comes out, I had to read from Got No Secrets a few years ago, but like it also had been a few years since it was out, and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then when
oh
I wrote closed, like Guernica's actually gonna reissue for all the men, I think, but the
okay.
other eventually, but like with God No Secrets, I was like, if every copy of it spontaneously caught fire and exploded, I mean, with no damage to the environment, I would not be sad.
You'd
Like,
be
I was
okay with
like,
it. But
oh my
that's
God, I was
because you've
20.
come so far. So you can look
I
back,
hope I mean, I really,
a
that's
100%. And like you just have to be super proud of that person you were who said, I'm gonna have that published. Like that's
my
such a
biggest dream back
great
then.
story.
You're so kind. Thank you. You know what? My biggest dream back then was I used to live right near Pages on Queen Street,
Yeah,
on Stephanie Street. I used to live just up
yeah.
the street. And Pages, which was like the nicest bookstore at Queen and John. Do you remember Pages?
I do,
They
yeah.
used to have this first of all, they could get you books that were no longer in print. They could get you anything, which was amazing. Like they had the best selection. Um, Lucinda, who was also worked there, and I published with the same publisher a few years later, so that was really special. She's great. She's like an encyclopedic knowledge of music and music of books,
Yeah.
of every kind of book. Like you're like, I'd like to read a short stories collection set in this time period. Oh, okay. Well, have you
Okay.
heard about this, and this? And I'm
Love
like,
that.
she's like the high fidelity of like
Yes.
of like booksellers. It's just amazing.
So great.
Um, but also like they had this shelf, and it says small press books.
Yeah. Yeah.
My biggest dream this is before I had signed with a small press, was to
Right.
sign with a small press so that I could have a book on that shelf.
On
That
that
was all
show.
I wanted in the world.
So great.
Like
So
I
good.
mean, I think maybe with every project, like my goals have slowly
Yeah,
expanded. Like I've slowly
absolutely.
had the confidence to want a little bit more, to hope that it's possible for a little
Yes.
bit more to
Yeah.
happen. Like,
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what we should be doing, like in all aspects of our lives, right? Like I mean, it's so cliche, dream big, but also
no, but it's hard.
to
It's
allow
hard when you
ourselves to do that. Cause I think
when
sometimes we're, oh, well, why are you doing that? And what are you doing now? And what,
it's so
like this
hard
kind of
because when
thoughts.
you it takes it goes against like natural instincts. When you create something, when you make something,
Yeah.
it's really hard to then believe that that thing deserves to like it's
Yeah.
really it's hard like
Yeah.
but my dad is kind of the person who said like yeah but in a certain way like we make the fertilizer like the fertilizers are ours like we make them too like
Yeah.
even if you think you're very emotionally invested in it because it's a creative thing it's still a professional thing and it's
Yeah.
still he's like, I'm very invested in this new fertilizer. Let me show you. Let me tell you.
I love that.
He loves to grow. He loves to like grow vegetables. Like, it's so, you should see this zucchini. Like, it's just like,
So
I'm like,
passionate
I
about it.
believe you. I'm
So
like, I
good.
believe you. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, you have to, I guess you have to be because of all the time
Yeah.
you spend doing it. I guess you have to really love it. And one thing that's great is like, as writers, we have to spend that time writing, researching, editing. But it turns out that when it comes to hopefully growing as writers and hopefully reaching audiences like those things are good.
Yeah.
Those
Right.
things are an asset.
Yeah.
I think we think that the goals are further apart. The two things like promoting work and the work itself are further
Yeah.
apart than they actually are. I think
Yeah.
in a lot of ways the things we have to do for both of them align
Yeah. For
in
sure.
ways that we don't think about. Like on the surface they seem really different, but like
Yeah.
some of the things there's actually a lot in common.
Yeah. That's so fascinating. I don't know. It's like there's so many areas to think about, but I like that idea too, that if you're aligning them, and I don't know, I feel like there's like when I listen to you speak, your passion is you're so passionate about your writing and the process, and so it just feels sort of natural in a way. Like it doesn't feel like one thing is more
Yeah,
forced than
yeah.
something else. It's
That's
just
how
like,
it
okay, this
feels.
is part of the gig, and do the thing. And I think a lot of what you were saying too is that connecting with other people, like your editor and your other like readers, and just the
Yeah,
different people that come
yeah,
in this circle,
yeah,
like mentors, and your grade three teacher, like all of those people, like kind of feed you
yeah,
to write, to help go through, because writing is a book length of any kind, whether it's fiction or nonfiction or a novel or short stories. It's a really big and lengthy process, and
yeah,
you
yeah.
devote so much time to it that you're right. I don't think we think of it as a solitary thing, but it kind of really isn't. There's so many other people who are influencing and helping us, and boys, like keeping us afloat, I guess, to get through these things. It's incredible.
Even the early drafts, like sometimes I'm really frustrated. You read it over to yourself. You're like, this isn't working. I don't know why this
Yeah,
isn't working. I've spent like 3 days straight with this. I don't know why it's
yeah,
not working.
yeah.
There was a certain point in writing A Place for People Like Us where um like I wanted to live tweet. There's a building near where we live that was just like demolished for
Okay.
condos or something like that.
Yeah.
And so there was basically just like the shell, like the
Yeah.
skeleton of a building, and I wanted to like tweet it with the words like, "So Danila, how's the draft going? How's the new novel going?" It's just nothing. Like it's just a demolished like building.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like it's
With
like
all the potential of building it up again.
let's I was so and then it was so hard to like once you've built something up again, you're like, but is it working this time?
Right.
How do I-
Yeah.
because you're like because before I just like fundamentally knew like the earlier drafts it wasn't right. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
expressing like even changing from
Yeah.
third person to first person made a huge
Right.
difference.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
doing one perspective instead of there's two the main character in this book. His name is Hannah.
Yeah.
And her best friend Jillian, in the original version, I had both of their voices, and I
Okay.
went between the two perspectives. And in the end, actually, Elise Friedman was like, I really think like you should stay in Hannah's perspective. So what was really cool was one of the stories in Things That Cause Inappropriate Happiness was just some repurposed chapters of Jillian's. Like
Okay. Smart, right?
it's called
Never
All Good
delete
Things Take
anything.
Time.
Just set it aside. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
So good.
it like never happens like that. But I think
Yeah.
I was talking to Elise, and then also Catherine Kindber was one of the writers I got to work with when I was at Guelph, and I remember she said, like maybe take like a fiction break if you're like not sure, like go back to like maybe take a novel break, like go back to short
Yeah.
fiction. And I thought maybe I can use this, maybe I
Right.
can repurpose this as some pretty dark stuff. And I thought like this is so good, like this was so weird to research, like people would
Yeah.
think like if you like so
Yeah.
it was like really
So I
it
love
was
that.
really interesting to because the way it ends up happening is told from Hannah's perspective and from outside perspective now
Okay.
in the novel, like
Right.
from like the perspective of an observer who
Right.
was there sort of for part of the time, and we
Yeah.
don't directly get her perspective. Is-
Yeah.
Um, so it's really interesting to
Yeah.
someone who goes to extremes, including doing things to herself to
Mhm.
prove
Mhm.
um, that that something is wrong with her that isn't really.
Right, right. So
Like
fascinating. Yeah, and
like
just
someone,
changing
yeah,
perspectives or changing some
yeah,
aspect or
yeah,
structure or can really open it up for, if you're feeling like, okay, it's not moving forward or something's wrong with it. Like I love that idea. It's just take it and say, okay, I'm gonna just kind of blow it up and try it again in a different way.
yeah.
And sometimes it just
I
naturally
had to
feels
take a
better.
break. Like I had
Yeah,
to leave it alone for a while, which I
yeah,
don't usually do, but
yeah,
I just
yeah,
knew it wasn't right, and I
yeah,
didn't know in what ways it wasn't
yeah,
right. Like the part that probably is the same or similar in the first version to now is Hannah is involved with Jillian both romantically and uh, becomes like it's like one of these intense best
yeah.
friendships that becomes like something of what this generation calls like a situationship, like something like
Right.
in between, like for her, she would want it to be more, but her
Yeah.
friend Jillian is clear about her lack of definition.
Mhm.
And so she meets this guy who is modern Orthodox Jewish,
Mhm.
and he has this wild family life, the Goldwater family, or this wild family. I'm Jewish.
Yeah,
So it's a community I know and grew up in.
yeah,
But obviously they're an amalgamation and an exaggeration, and they're
yeah.
not, like they're not based on anyone in
Right.
particular. But it was really fun to write them, and
Yeah.
the fun I had with all the crazy ways that the Goldwater family's lives do weird things
Yeah.
and unexpected things is probably the thing that was the same.
Yeah.
Like that and Catherine Bush was fantastic about encouraging that. She was like, yeah, and I remember my thesis defense, she gave me like all this feedback about the family and like observations about the family, and I was like, this is so cool. So that was the part that I think maybe worked ish, the first
Yeah.
ish, like so bad. It was a like, but but like getting the voice right, getting
Right.
the details right, figuring out exactly what my timeline was, like
Mhm.
exactly from when to when this was
Yeah.
happening, and then also making it in 2016, right before and during Trump's first election
Right.
was
Yes.
also a part of the
Yes.
story. And
Yes.
like also like I'm writing a lot younger than I am. Like I'm
Yeah.
42, I'm turning 43 this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I'm writing 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
So like I was like I was like, what was I thinking? Like I
Right.
was like so my brother, my youngest brother is in his late 20s now.
Yeah.
Um so I called him and like asked him all these questions. Like I was
So
like,
good.
what if he like I was like, does anyone your age use Facebook? No. Like, what are we,
Yeah,
85? No.
we got it
Like,
fact check here
yeah,
for the
it's so funny. Like,
generations.
what do they use? He's like, I don't know, TikTok, Snapchat.
Yeah,
I
right?
was like, I was like, would they wear this? He's like, no.
No.
Or would they listen to this? No. Like,
Oh, I love that.
so that was
Use
really
your
fun.
relatives and friends
Yeah,
for fact
yeah,
checking
for
all the.
research. Yeah,
Yep, so good.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, this has been so delightful to chat with you,
It's
and
wonderful to chat with
congratulations
you
on
too.
your
Thank you
new
so much
book
for having
coming
me.
out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
so much,
exciting.
Lisa. You're the best. Your questions are so insightful and smart and wonderful. You do so much for the community, and your books are beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate
It's an
it.
honor to
And
do this.
thank you
Thank you
again
so
for
much.
chatting with us.
Thank you so
I
much
loved
for
it.
having me. Me
Thanks.
too.
Are you interested in pursuing your book writing dreams? Join me for my next group book coaching session starting on October 19th and running for 8 weeks. This session is ideal for individuals who have an idea for a novel or a memoir and need guidance to get started, or who have a draft and need a solid plan for revision. You will receive weekly group book coaching sessions and individual feedback every week on your submissions, weekly goal setting, and a supportive community of women writing. Hop on over to lisakovalabookcoach.com for more information, or email me at lisabookcoach@gmail.com to register. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to have a coffee break with us at Women Writing. Don't forget to subscribe to Women Writing on Substack. If you like this episode, share it with someone who needs a writing break and a little inspiration. Happy writing! Thank you to Michael Jensen for his original music and editing, and to Mia Jensen for the logo design.